these, well, I guess a little comeback with the, what was it? I forgot what oversight. Was it the oversight committee? What committee she was talking to? I do not remember. But she did have to get up there and talk to Congress, and it was, they was giving her a hard time. Because let's be real, Bondi had a lot of hiccups, so they had a lot to go off of. I'm going to be honest with you guys on that one. Bondi and Cash Patel, probably the lowest performers in Trump's administration right now. But hey, it is what it is.
Hey everyone, I'm Laura Ingraham. This is the Ingraham Angle from Washington tonight. As always,
not everybody can be perfect.
Time with us.
Everybody can be Scott
Schiff sweats, Dems dissolve, Bondi dominates. That's the focus of tonight's angle.
Really?
Today was supposed to be their big moment with AG Pam Bondi on the Hill. The Democrats on the Senate Oversight Committee thought they'd flip the script on Team Trump. They thought they'd nail Bondi and Trump on weaponization, using government to punish people's political opponents. Even as new shocking evidence shows that's precisely what Democrats did. As Chicago and Portland boil over, and as the federal government remains shut down, the Democrats' focus was on protecting disgraced former FBI director Jim Comey and criminal aliens.
Which is crazy.
It didn't go well for him.
If you worked for me, you would have been fired because you were censured by Congress for lying with your
we can stipulate to, you can stipulate to all your personal attacks on the Democratic members of the committee.
Personal attacks. You've been attacking my FBI director. You've been attacking my office. You've been attacking.
What we're interested in,
borders are.
What we're interested in is the answer to these oversight questions.
You want your
you were asked by my colleague. You were asked by my colleague.
Attacking good people.
I mean,
Schiff should be behind bars. The ultimate insurrectionist, a man who tried to subvert Trump's entire first term based on lies and smears. But of course, that's their playbook. Accuse Trump of what they've already done, hoping the media will echo it long enough to confuse the public. But Bondi didn't blink. She turned the focus where it belongs, back to their record.
Operation Arctic Frost was an unconstitutional, undemocratic abuse of power. During Arctic Frost, the FBI also placed 92 linked Republican individuals and Republican groups, such as Charlie Kirk's Turning Point, on their list. This is the kind of conduct that shattered the American people's faith in our government. We are ending this weaponization.
It's over. And Arctic Frost, by the way, it wasn't some inadvertent mistake.
Okay. So I see what it was. Like, pretty much, yeah. There's some stuff they have against Pam Bondi and nothing crazy, but there's some hiccups that she's done that they could have grilled her on. But Pam Bondi got a list of atrocities, a list of mishaps that's been going on the past 4 years under Biden that the Dems have not spoken up for. So she also has that against them. And here's the thing, Pam Bondi got more ammo against them than they got against her. I mean, they only got like 10 months of ammo against her. She got like 4 years.
By a low-level staffer or some policy error. It was a full-blown attempt at a political dragnet authorized by the Biden DOJ and the FBI, launched in April of 2022. Now, officials used their preliminary analysis powers to collect communications from Republican senators, party organizers, and conservative activists, as Attorney General said, like Charlie Kirk. Now, this all came to light because of the work of Senators Charles Grassley and Ron Johnson. And this fishing expedition run by agents working for the Special Counsel's office, Jack Smith, was coordinated with 13 field offices and resulted in the issuance of, we're told, 50 subpoenas. So 8 Republican senators were targeted without legal justification. Lindsey Graham, Marsha Blackburn, Ron Johnson, Josh Hawley, Cynthia Lummis, Bill Haggerty, Dan Sullivan, and Tommy Tuberville. They were all spied on.
Damn, all Republicans.
This wasn't national security. It was an attempt at partisan surveillance.
Damn.
FBI Director Kash Patel tweeted, they tracked GOP.
I mean, they could at least added one liberal. They could have added one Democrat in there to not make it look so biased. Like, they literally overplayed their hand with that whole operation.
Senators, they weaponized law enforcement. That era is over. We sure hope so. And he also confirmed that CR-15 surveillance unit had been dismantled and agents involved have been fired. But understandably, senators want answers.
What do I have to show to get the phone records of a sitting United States senator?
You would have to have cause.
Can you tell me why my phone records when I'm the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, were sought by the Jack Smith agents. Do you think that was an abuse of power?
Senator, I cannot discuss.
Yeah, and how upset would you be? It's like, yo, you saw my phone records? And here's the thing, I'll be even more offended because, like, not only me, but you got all my people's phone records, like the people on my side of the aisle, the other Republicans. And you didn't do this to no Democrat, just us? Yeah, I would be pretty furious.
Whether there is or is not an ongoing investigation.
Well, when a sitting senator has to ask why his phone records were sought by an opposing political party, something is deeply broken. And yet Democrats sat in silence at those parts of the discussion. No words of concern, not one word of outrage. Now, I agree with what Chuck Grassley said when he said that based on the evidence to date, Arctic frost and related weaponization were arguably worse than Watergate. Because the abuse by the Biden sleazoids was broad, sweeping in the RNC, the Republican Attorneys General Association, and 92 conservative individuals. If Watergate was about breaking into a political campaign headquarters, Arctic frost was about breaking into an entire political party. And that's why Democrats are panicking. The facts are coming to light.
And the worst part is they try to see if they were all criminals. No proof, no nothing. Just, you know what? Just because you're a Republican, we're just going to try to see if we can catch them on criminal actions. No evidence, no suspicious behavior, just you're a Republican. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's going above and beyond to try to, I guess, convict somebody or try to get a crime or try to get a conviction on somebody. It's doing too much. And then the fact that you went on to pull these guys' phone records bro, these guys have no criminal history. There's no, they didn't lay out no suspicion for it. Just, hey, we're just going in, guys. F it. And shout out to my man Vlad. He said video sent to Discord DM. Hey, appreciate you, my man. All right, guys, let's go ahead. Let's get to the next one.
And they have nowhere to.
Well, let me go ahead and pull up Vlad's video real quick. Let me see if I can find that. And then I'm going to go ahead and get on to CNN's, well, you know, side of the story. Well, not really side of the story, but how their perspective is about Pam Bondi's Congress hearing.
Scatter.
Are you firing career prosecutors solely because they worked on cases like January 6th that the president doesn't like?
Senator Hirono, I am not going to talk about personnel matters with you.
Well, I think you should stop with your continuous interruptions, in my opinion. Mr. Chairman, I just want to close by saying that what was once the Department of Justice has become the Department of Revenge and Corruption.
Oh, that's some good writing there. So what did they do today? Well, they just deflected. They shouted. They kind of droned on as she did. And they tried to relitigate things like 2016 and January 6th. It's all they know.
And I think it's been confirmed by the White House. They are going to transfer Texas National Guard units to the state of Illinois. What's the rationale for that?
You voted to shut down the government, and you're sitting here. Our law enforcement officers aren't being paid. They're out there working to protect you. I wish you loved Chicago as much as you hate President Trump. And currently, the National Guard are on the way to Chicago. If you're not going to protect your citizens, President Trump will.
Ooh.
I think that was the defining moment of the hearing today. Bondi wasn't just defending her record or Trump's record. She was defending the basic right of every American to have safe cities where criminals, not law-abiding residents, live in fear. And by the same token, no American should fear being targeted by the DOJ or the FBI because of their political affiliation. But the same people who are willing and wailing about Bondi's partisan hit squad were the same ones who not only greenlit Arctic frost, but were fine censoring dissent on social media and using skewed, phony intel to get and torment Trump and smear conservatives. And at least one senator thinks heads should roll.
People need to be fired over it, not just these FBI agents, but let's go after Jack Smith. Let's go after the people that pulled the trigger to go after a sitting president of the United States, Donald Trump.
Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and President Trump are dismantling that system piece by piece, returning the Department of Justice to its core mission, enforcing laws equally, not politically. And, you know, that actually terrifies the president.
And I mean, let's be honest, though. Comey is a Republican, so you can't say that, oh, he's just getting at him because he's a Democrat. I mean, no, bro, I'm be real with you. He lied to Congress, and let's be arguably, he probably did obstruct an investigation.
class in Washington. They've gotten
know.
away with
Now
so
wait to
much
court.
for so long. They don't know which way to turn.
Wait till they
So
try.
Democrats left today's hearing looking divided, defensive, and desperate. The party that once claimed to protect democracy is now exposed as the party that subverted it. They're leaderless, they're rudderless, and out of arguments. And that's the angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to
As far as Comey goes, though, to be honest, now here's the thing: the whole line to Congress thing. I mean, he could have been working with the information he had at the time, and even if he was trying to lie to Congress, he could just say, "I was working with the information at the time." The real charge they could possibly catch him up on is the obstruction of an investigation, and that might have some validity to it, or that they might be able to stick him on that. Because the whole line to Congress, like I said, he can always just say, "I was working with what I had." But all right, guys, let's get into what CNN is saying.
On Capitol Hill, Attorney General Pam Bondi taking tough questions today as Democrats seize the opportunity to grill the nation's top law enforcement officer on a number of controversial moves by the administration, including sending troops to Democratic-led cities. That action leading to this clash with Illinois Senator Dick Durbin.
They are going to transfer Texas National Guard units to the state of Illinois. What's the rationale for that?
Yeah, Chairman, as you shut down the government, you voted to shut down the government, and you're sitting here, our law enforcement officers aren't being paid. They're out there working to protect you. I wish you loved Chicago as much as you hate President Trump. And currently, the National Guard are on the way to Chicago. If you're not going to protect your citizens, President Trump will.
Been on this committee for more than 20 years. That's the kind of testimony you expect from this administration. A simple question as to whether or not they had a legal rationale for deploying National Guard troops becomes grounds for a personal attack.
We have a lot to break down. Fortunately, we have CNN legal analyst, former federal prosecutor Elliot Williams. Elliot, great to see you as always. How do you think AG Bondi handled questions related to the weaponization of DOJ and her firing of senior officials?
Well, I guess the question is, what was her goal here? And if her goal was punching back and representing the president in the way that any number of people, Kash Patel, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and she have behaved in most recent hearings, then she did a spectacular job. Now, if she was following the traditions of attorneys general of both parties to have engaged in a back and forth in oversight hearings, this was a huge departure from anything anyone who's watched these hearings has seen. And I say this, Boris, as someone who's been counselor both to the Attorney General and the Senate Judiciary Committee. So I've seen it from both sides. This was a remarkable hearing.
Bondi also would not discuss the indictment against the former FBI Director James Comey. Let's play some of that.
Is it true that the career prosecutors in the Eastern District of Virginia found that there was insufficient evidence to bring criminal charges against former Director Comey?
I am not going to discuss pending cases because Comey was indicted in the Eastern District of Virginia by, I may point out, one of the most liberal grand juries in the country.
Not unusual for someone in her position to not want to get into the details of a pending case.
Right.
I'm curious what you thought about the grand jury remark.
Right. A couple things here. Great. She should not get into the details of the case, but there are very serious questions, including concerns being raised by career prosecutors in the office that, frankly, Congress and members of both parties really ought to be asking questions about. Now, to the point that it's one of the most liberal grand juries in the country, the former seat of the Confederacy is in that district. Let's be clear. There's a reason why the Eastern District of Virginia is called the rocket docket across the country, because of how quickly they push prosecutions through. So the idea that it's some left-wing grand jury, it's just not accurate. It's just not accurate based on anybody who knows anything about prosecutions.
Important to get that context. She also notably would not talk about the dismissal of Eric Siebert. He's that U.S. attorney who resigned under pressure for not indicting New York Attorney General Letitia James, who President Trump clearly wants some legal action taken on. What did you make of her not getting
mortgage fraud?
Again, having done this 1,000 times, it's the right answer technically, which is that she should not be talking about the specifics of personnel matters. Again, there are major questions about the governing of the department that Congress ought to be able to talk about, whether it's in a closed session or something else. Now, again, attorneys general typically don't talk about personnel matters, but this is probably a problem with the management of the department that I think Democrats and Republicans really ought to be asking questions about.
Lastly, she was also asked about some of these strikes on vessels in the Caribbean Sea. The administration has accused these folks of being linked to?
Oh no, that's not a good question from Bondi. It's something you want to ask Hegseth. Hegseth would probably be able to give you the best answer on that one.
Drug trafficking. They've essentially argued that these are terrorist organizations, these drug cartels. What did you make of her reasoning?
It's the same answer I've given a couple times, Boris, because it's so important to our notion of separation of powers. We have a Congress and we have an executive branch, and it's
And shout out to my man Hellbase. I find it funny that they are trying to get extra info about the court proceedings while they are going on. It's like, yeah, it is a bit crazy. Pretty sure there's a law against that, but okay. I know, right? Like, she'd have answered that, and then they'd have grilled her for being, going against ethics and all that good stuff. But they're trying to get her to break ethics. Yeah, but that's how they play.
Congress's job to oversee when.
And think about it, your average American citizen, I mean, they don't really know that.
The executive branch is or isn't carrying out its authorities
Which is
well.
fine.
We
I mean,
lived this
everything to
all
do.
through the war on terror in the 2000s, and it's the kind of question that this committee ought to be asking. Democrats and Republicans really need to get to the bottom. Was the law followed here? And she didn't give a great answer on it.
Elliot Williams, always appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
This has been really a tale of two hearings. You've seen Republicans really going after the.
All right, man, let's go ahead and get back to Trump closing out this speech or this roundtable discussion on Antifa.
Please, you can't just leave. These people aren't wealthy individuals. And that's one of the major problems. And these people are afraid to come out and speak out.